Miami rearguard. It's for all that the Toronto defense hasn't been the most watertight. The same has to be said of the Miami rearguard. Dane St. Clair, well, he's only got one clean sheet as well, similar to Luka Gavran. And that came in a 2-0 win at Salt Lake City last month. He's closing in now on 150 appearances in the MLS regular season. He's certainly going to be in Jesse Marsh's Canada squad for the upcoming World Cup. Whether or not he gets the nod as the Canada number one, we'll have to see, but he's been playing quite a few of the friendlies of late. As Lionel Messi now places the ball on the centre spot. As glorious sunlight bathes the stadium. And the players are pretty much ready to go now. It's been a bit of a wait to get this game underway. To say, I'm not entirely sure what the hold-up has been, but I'm pleased to say now that Lionel Messi gets us underway, and it's Miami who settle into some early possession, wearing their famous all-pink strip, with Toronto wearing their traditional all-red. It's Toronto who have won the ball back and are trying to make some headway down the right-hand side. Ball breaks kindly there to Zimmerman. And then it's out to Raheem Edwards. And now Miami win it back, and it's Falcon who gathers it for them, the centre half. Plays it to his left to Noah Allen. Allen now measuring a pass down the left-hand side to Bertaram. Little layoff there by Suarez. The ball is in midfield now, and it's switched nicely to the right-hand side, and it's gathered in by Mura. Mura tries to play a pass down the line. That's picked up and moved on back towards him by DePaul. Good defending back there, though, by Toronto, and Raheem Edwards emerges with the ball for them. Under a bit of pressure, manages to just squeak it back to Monluis. And Monluis just hacks it long. That's not going to find a red shirt. Instead, it's just going to bounce all the way through to Dane St. Clair. Miami now look to build another move from the back. It's with Mikael. Falcon plays it back to him. Falcon looks to forage forward. Plays a pass to his right to Mura. It's back with Falcon, who now finds Noah Allen. Here's Mikael. Now Falcon once more. Rolls the ball up towards Suarez. His little attempted layoff to Messi didn't quite come off. And now here's Raheem Edwards. Trying to slide a pass up to DeAndre Kerr, but was well spotted by Mikael. And now into Miami have the ball back. It's come to DePaul here, about 5 yards inside his own half. It's worked over to the right-hand side to Mura. Back infield now to Mikael. Now here's Segovia. The ball pass forward from him, though. That's just bounced really harmlessly all the way through to Luka Gavran. And it's launched long by him down the field. And now in midfield it's DePaul looking to clip a ball over the top to Suarez, who's giving chase, but that's a good piece of defending back there by Zimmerman. And Messi is in and around that one as well, but it's good defending back there by Toronto. Eventually Miami having to settle for a throw-in on the left-hand side. Here's Mikael now. Worked out to the left-hand side to Noah Allen. Played inside to Segovia, just inside his own half in the centre circle. Here's Gonzalo Lujan now. Plays a ball over the top that's a little bit too long for Messi. And it just bounces through to Gavran, who quickly bowls it out to Raheem Edwards. Edwards finding a pass up to Saloy, who's drifted in off the left-hand side and tries to slider ball in between Allen and Mikael that was well cut out by Noah Allen in the end. And then into Miami, awarded a free kick in midfield there. Marcus Simancic just being penalised for a pretty heavy challenge there on Rodrigo De Paul. It was De Paul who brought the ball down really nicely, and then Simancic just clipping his ankles. Maybe feel a little bit hard done by there. It wasn't the worst challenge I've ever seen, in fairness, but referee deciding to award the free kick to Inter Miami. So it's to be a bit of a painful one for Rodrigo De Paul, just holding the small of his back. I thought it was his ankles that had been clipped, but perhaps he got a little nudge in the back as well. As Robin Fraser, the Toronto head coach, just barking some instructions from his technical area down there as Messi finds a little pass inside to De Paul from that free kick. But Toronto have it back here. It's Edwards. Risky pass inside, but doing well there was Simancic, but Inter Miami win it back, and there's a good pass play down the right-hand side, is it? Well, no, actually it's a little bit too heavy in the end. Suarez was giving chase, and the ball just rolls out of play, level with the edge of the Toronto penalty area. Comes here to Osorio from the throw-in. Experienced Canada international. I'm sure he'll be on his way to the World Cup as well. Long pass down the right-hand side. Asking Henry to give chase. Good piece of sweeper-keeper action there by Dane St. Clair. Just coming out of his penalty area on the left-hand side of it and just drilling it into the crowd. As Guillermo Hoyos, the Inter Miami coach, just scribbles down a few notes on his pad. Taking over in April, of course, from Javier Mascherano. As Edwards now steps in and surges towards the edge of the Miami penalty area. Pushes it to his left to Saloy. Tries the little 1-2 with Edwards. There's a partial block that comes in from Miami there, but it's back with Saloy. And now here's Osorio. Midway inside the Inter Miami half. Osorio looking for options. Eventually finding Saloy on the left. That's a good little piece of interplay, but then Saloy's pass is a bit too heavy, and that allows Segovia to gather. The ball is worked up to Berteram. Comes back here to Segovia again. And now here's Lujan. Comes to De Paul on the halfway line. He's dispossessed, though, by Edwards. And then Osorio moving it on nicely to Simancic. And gathering it in there for Toronto was Alonso Coelho, the Spaniard. Midway inside the Inter half. Pretty central position. It's Simancic now. Osorio finding a pass up to Andre Kerr, who's bundled to the floor. And that's going to be a free kick. Awarded to Toronto for a bit of a heavy challenge there by Zaymon Luis. And so, a bit of defending for Inter Miami to do here. Osorio, Coelho, among those standing over this free kick. See Raheem Edwards also making his way over there. Showing some interest in this one. And that foul from Mikael, just giving Toronto a bit of an opportunity here. 7.5 minutes on the clock. Still goalless between Toronto and Inter Miami, but the hosts have a free kick here, and it looks as though it's going to be Alonso Coelho. It's 25 yards out, just right of centre. Is he going to have a go here? Yes, he is. Hits it low, and it's a good save by Dane St. Clair. Just had to shift across to his left to gather the ball in. He's rolled it out quickly to Messi. Messi moving it up to Suarez, who helps it on its way. Into Miami just slowing things down temporarily here. As Mikael moves it across to Lujan. Here he is again now, Mikael. Midway inside his own half. Plays it again to his right to Lujan. Into looking to keep up this fairly impressive recent run of results on the road in MLS. It's 5 wins and a defeat from the last 6 games on their travels. It's not going to be much use. A pass like that from Lujan just shanking it forward and out of play just inside the Toronto half, and Edwards quickly getting on with things with the throw-in. Osorio thinking he's won another throw-in there, the Toronto skipper, but referee saying the last touch came off the 33-year-old. And Inter Miami will have a throw-in of their own just inside the Toronto half on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side I should say. It's worked back to Lujan. Mikhail gives it back to him. Lujan thinks about going long, but instead plays it square again to Mikhail. He returns it to Lujan, who ambles forward and finds a good pass up to DePaul. Low cross comes into the edge of the box. A little step over. Loose touch from Messi. And Toronto look to come away, but they've got it back now, have Inter Miami. Clipped into the penalty area. Headed away partially by Zimmerman. And then it's just aimed forward pretty hopefully by Coelho. And good defending by Mikhail to get there first ahead of Kerr. Toronto winning the ball back midway inside their own half, although Osorio, well, he's gone down under a challenge there. It's Yannick Bright who's been penalised. He wasn't happy about it, but Toronto get on with things quickly, and they're up to the edge of the Inter Miami penalty area now. Here's Henry. Low shot from him. Oh, and not far away from Malik Henry. Just coming in off his right flank and just flashing a low shot with the left foot towards the bottom corner. Very close there to taking the lead were Toronto. It's actually DeAndre Kerr who drifted out from the centre forward position to the right hand side and just flashed that low left footed shot. Wasn't too far wide of Dane St Clair's left hand post. And it's Toronto who have had the better sights of goals so far in this opening 11 minutes or so. Still goalless though in this MLS Eastern Conference clash, as Noah Allen now picks up the ball for Inter Miami midway inside his own half. Here comes Lujan now again, looking to make progress on the ball, but another loose pass there, and it just gives it to Coelho. His pass though is then cut out by Yannick Bright, and some good work in midfield there. Sees Miami come away with it on the right hand side. It's Messi. Little pass inside from him to DePaul. DePaul, with three red shirts around him, actually loses the ball there. And now it's Simamancic heading towards the edge of the Inter penalty area. Oh, really disappointing low shot with the left foot there from Marcus Simamancic. He had options left and right there as he homed in on the edge of the Inter box, but took the wrong option, deciding to pull the trigger from 25 yards. Never really caught it. And Dane St Clair happy just to watch it dribble wide of his left-hand post. Perhaps no great surprise. It would be Marcus Simamancic's first ever MLS goal if it had sailed into the back of the net, albeit only making his 11th appearance in the competition this evening. The 21-year-old youth prospect, or youth graduate I should say, for Toronto. As Miami now let's get things back underway as St Clair plays a pass to his right to Lujan, who created that opening for Toronto inadvertently with a pretty slack pass. As Murat plays a more measured ball inside and across field of play towards Mikhail. He takes a moment just to put his foot on the ball before finding Lujan. Now here's Murat again for Inter Miami. They've certainly enjoyed the lion's share of possession in the opening stages, Miami, but that's another loose pass by Mikhail, and there's a chance here for Kerr. Oh, left-footed shot goes sailing over the crossbar, and DeAndre Kerr with another sight of goal there. And again, it's come from an Inter Miami mistake from one of their centre halves. This time, Mikhail guilty of a really slack pass, and Kerr pounced up on the opportunity, got to within a yard of the edge of the Miami box and just put his head down and lashed it towards goal left-footed, just leaning back on it slightly, and the ball sailed high over Dane St Clair's crossbar. But, well, they've had enough warnings, haven't they, Inter Miami, in this opening 13 minutes or so. Keep making those slack mistakes in possession. Toronto are well poised to potentially punish them just with some slightly better finishing. But once again, another poor pass from a Miami defender. This time it's Mura, the right back, just passing it straight out of play midway inside his own half. So Toronto have a throw-in on the left-hand side, which Edwards has taken up to Kerr, who's battling away with Lujan. Ball, I think, just went out of play there, did it? Yeah, it's going to be an Inter Miami throw-in. Lionel Messi just turns away and starts walking back up the pitch. There's Noah Allen now. Clips the ball long down the left-hand side. Berteram flicks it on, but then it's won well in the air by Monluis. It's going to come here to Zimmerman, who chests the ball down nicely. Franklin, the right back for Toronto, plays a good pass into midfield to Osorio. He lays it back to Franklin, who turns away from Berteram and clears it long. Bit of pinball in midfield for the moment. He touched there, gives a chance for Suarez, who was playing. He played a little back heel, looking for the return pass to Messi, who had given to him initially. Messi had been bundled to the ground. Messi definitely wanting a free kick there, but the referee not interested in his protests. That allows Osorio to bring it away for Toronto. Here's Edwards now, finding a pass inside to Coelho. He moves it on to Edwards. 10 yards or so inside the Inter half. Deep cross swung in. It's going to come all the way through here to Henry at the back post. Little slide pass into the area from Henry is gathered nicely. The ball goes back to Malik Henry. Thinks about a left-footed cross, but instead plays it back to Franklin. And now here's Walker Zimmerman. Just inside his own half. Measures the pass inside to Edwards. Edwards rolling it up to Kerr, who holds it up nicely back to goal. Finds Henry on the outside. Down to the byline. Great cross from Henry. Headed partially clear, I think, back there by Mikael. And then Messi back to goal. Does well to gather it in and just lay it off to DePaul. DePaul then goes down. And it's going to be a free kick here to Inter Miami. It was actually Yannick Brighton there who got bundled to the floor. Looked a little bit ragged so far, haven't they, Inter Miami? Certainly Toronto not looking like a team who are struggling for wins at the moment. They've been pretty lively. Look to make headway down the channels, but also through the heart of this Miami defence as well. Has Mura now under pressure there from Saloy. Has to go all the way back to Mikael as Allen finds a pass up the left-hand side to Berteram. Let's come back here to Mikael. DePaul now dropping deep to gather midway inside his own half. Looking to combine with Allen. Allen gets a pass off inside to Bright. And then Messi clipping a glorious ball over the top. Oh, and it's almost come there. Well, the goalkeeper's gone down. And I think he's going to get a free kick for his trouble as well. He's gone down in a heap there. It was Berteram, I think, who was looking to latch on to that ball over the top from Lionel Messi. The goalkeeper has come out fully committed. Messi just clipped the ball over from just inside his own half. It was a lovely attempted ball over the top from Messi. Berteram, his eyes must have been lighting up as he was almost on it. And out came Luka Gavran, only with eyes for the ball, in fairness, the Toronto keeper. But he looks as though he's come off a little bit worse for that challenge here, because Berteram is thankfully back on his feet now. Still down and in need of some treatment here is Luka Gavran, the 26-year-old who's been at the club for about 4 years now, having arrived in January 2022 from Red Storm. Actually made his debut for Canada in January, did Luka Gavran, coming on for the final few minutes of a friendly against Guatemala. Looks like as though he's going to be okay to continue as well. Just being helped back to his feet now. I'm sure Robin Fraser, the Toronto boss, is going to be pretty happy with what he's seen from his side in these early stages of the game, because though they haven't had the majority of the ball, they've certainly had the majority of the dangerous situations from an attacking sense, and certainly majority of the genuine sights on goal as well. Working Dane St Clair on a couple of occasions, and also finishing a couple of efforts wide and high of his goal that perhaps could have been on target with some more care taken over the finishing. But anyway, Gavran launches the free kick long. It's headed back towards the halfway line. It's nodded down by Messi. Messi trying to flick it over Edwards, but Edwards was in fast, and Edwards coming towards the edge of the penalty area now. Tries to find a pass to DeAndre Kerr there, does Edwards, but fortunately that was a poor piece of execution from him. And the ball goes out of play for an Inter Miami goal kick. But it is interesting the role that Raheem Edwards is playing in these early stages. He's nominally the left back for Toronto, but he's inverting and spending a lot of time in field. Obviously a tactic we've seen a lot of in the Premier League over the past few years. As Toronto come forward again now. It's worked to the right, and here's Kerr! Oh, another sight of goal for DeAndre Kerr. My goodness me. He was only about 8 yards out this time. The ball was cut back to him. It was on his right foot. And in the end, he's just scuffed the attempted strike. It was really good play by Coelho, and then Henry with the low cross found its way to DeAndre Kerr. And it's no exaggeration to say that he could have had a hat-trick 19 or 20 minutes into this game. It was a good block in the end by Gonzalo Lujan, just sending the ball behind. And Toronto are going to have a corner here. My word, DeAndre Kerr, he's to be kicking himself at this point because he's had 3 or 4 sighters at goal in the opening 20 minutes or so. But perhaps there'll be more to come for him as this corner is swung in now from the right-hand side. Poor delivery this time, though. The ball bouncing all the way through and out of the Miami penalty area, and it's Miami who look to break now. It's come here to Messi. Messi with a lovely attempted through ball there over the top. Good defending, though, by Zimmerman this time, who just about manages to... Well, he smuggles the ball back to Gavran. I think Inter Miami are just asking the question there about a pass back, but the referee not too concerned about that, and Gavran rolling the ball out. And already Edwards is sending Kerr on his way again. Good strength there, though, by Mikael, just shielding the ball and allowing Dane St Clair to come out and pick it up. Again, DeAndre Kerr looking really threatening, looking to get in behind the Miami rearguard. Looking to certainly stretch them vertically, but also horizontally as well. He's been keen to work the channels at times. As Mura plays a pass back to Lujan. Here is Mikael now. Plays it into midfield to Bright, who immediately gives it back to him. Mikael finds a little pass up to Messi. Messi goes down under a challenge from Edwards. Edwards penalised. It's going to be a free kick to Inter Miami. It's just blitted on the edges of this game so far, hasn't he, Lionel Messi? Couple of lovely attempted lofted passes over the top from a long way out, in and around the halfway line. No sight of goal yet for the Argentina captain, but I'm sure he'll get his moment at some point as Mura now skips away from Edwards. Fires in a decent looking cross. That's headed partially clear. It's going to be one back in midfield here by Rodrigo De Paul. And De Paul now playing it up to the edge of the penalty area. Here's a little cross from Bertam. Oh, and Suarez sniffing around there at the near post. Messi as well. It's gone behind for a corner. Didn't see who the last touch came off there. De Paul played a good pass into Messi. Messi tried to have a shot from the edge of the box and it was partially blocked. The ball spilled its way out to the left to Bertaram, and then his little clipped attempted return pass to Messi was cut out by Toronto. I think, the last touch did come off Messi. As the clearance goes long from Gavran, but Inter Miami win it back fast. And here's Messi again now. I think Suarez is going to be offside here. Yep, the offside flag going up. And that was actually a pretty disappointing piece of attacking play. It was Bertaram, in fact, who had come across from the left-hand side to the right temporarily there. As Toronto come away with it now. Here's Edwards. Little layoff from him to Saloy. Nice little flicked pass there from Osorio. And now Saloy driving through the heart of the Inter midfield. A cross coming in low from Franklin. Oh, and it's a cross-come shot that Sinclair wasn't too sure about. It's flashed just past his right-hand post there from Kobe Franklin. Not exactly sure how close it was, but it looked like it wasn't too far away on first viewing. Franklin had barreled forward down the right-hand side and just found himself with a bit of space on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, my word, that hasn't missed by much, you know. Kobe Franklin aiming for the bottom left-hand corner from the right of centre at the edge of the penalty area, just flashing it towards that bottom left. Not too far away from finding the back of the net. He's in pretty decent goal-scoring form, actually, Kobe Franklin. Picked up 2 goals and an assist, in fact, in his last 4 appearances in MLS. It's almost 3 in his last 5. It's Toronto now. Awarded a free kick midway inside their own half. It's taken quickly by Osorio. Back to Monluis. Here's Edwards now, wide on the left-hand side. Plays it infield to Osorio. Osorio looks to spread the play. Bit of a heavy touch from Franklin, though, and that allows Messi to pounce. Now here goes Suarez. Suarez giving it back to the left-hand side to Allen. Now there's a chance here for Messi on the edge of the penalty area. Messi trying to find a pass down to the byline on the left-hand side. Little cutback that's hoiked clear by Osorio. Only as far as Noah Allen, though, who keeps things moving for Miami. Here's Mikael crossing into the Toronto half, left of centre. Still no one coming towards him, so he makes a pass out to the left to Allen. Into Miami now, just looking to turn up the heat here. They're going to try and win a corner here. Bertaram is battling away down by the corner flag, but the ball's actually still in play. And Inter, well, they had it back briefly, but now Toronto win it back, and they're looking to come clear, although Henry loses out. Toronto do eventually win it back, and this time Henry stabs it forward, but that's another poor pass from Malik Henry, and Inter have it back now. Here's DePaul, midway inside the Inter half. Coming forward here is Mura. He checks his momentum and just lays it back to Rodrigo DePaul. It's played across here to Segovia. Mikael now steaming forward. Pass in field to Messi. Messi drops the shoulder, tries to combine with Suarez. Messi, lovely little slide through ball down towards the byline on the left-hand side. The attempted cross is blocked well again, though, by Toronto, who are really suddenly being forced to put their bodies on the line back there. And there's more space here for DePaul, heading up towards the edge of the Toronto penalty area. Toronto do get a foot in this time, and now they come away, but they've lost it again, the hosts. And all of a sudden, the intensity in the press from Inter Miami is there, and here they come again now, the visitors. It's laid back here to Segovia. Pass into Messi, who's bundled to the floor again by Raheem Edwards. Raheem Edwards, well, he's making his case to the referee, but I don't think he can have any real complaints to see Inter Miami awarded a free kick. It was a really heavy challenge that came in from Edwards on Luis Suarez there. It wasn't Messi, it was actually Suarez. Suarez went tumbling to the turf. And so, Inter Miami with a free kick now. Messi has placed the ball down. He's taking an interest in this one, is Lionel Messi. It's right of centre. A long way out, I would say, probably at least 25 yards, maybe even 30. Messi is certainly interested in this one. Toronto have got 3 men in the wall on the edge of the area. Here goes Messi now! Oh, Lionel Messi! He's so close there. He's curled it towards the top right-hand corner. I'm not sure Luka Gavran would have had it covered. And I tell you, he's missed by inches there, Lionel Messi. It's a glorious effort. Luka Gavran scrambling across his goal. Able to watch it go behind. Not too far away from Lionel Messi. Certainly the closest he's come so far. As Gavran launches the goal kick long towards the halfway line. But again, it's just coming back all the time here for Toronto. Although that was a bit of a slack piece of play there in midfield by Segovia. And that allows Toronto to come forward again. It's an attempted ball from left to right from Saloy that's well cut out. Segovia moving it out to the right-hand side to Bertaram. Here's Allen now. Worked into midfield to Rodrigo De Paul. De Paul asking for some forward movement there from Lujan, which he gets. Now here's Bright. It's worked on now to Suarez. Toronto win it back this time. And it's Osorio coming away with the ball for them. Here's Simamancic now. Just crossing the halfway line. Rolling a pass into Saloy, who immediately gives it back to him. Now here's Osorio, just inside the Toronto half. Just slowing it down and then popping a pass down the left-hand side. A decent one as well that finds Daniel Saloy. Saloy cuts back inside on his right foot. He's got Edwards overlapping him. Edwards down to the byline, tries to flash a low cross in. That's deflected behind. And Toronto, right on the half-hour mark, will have a corner. It's one they probably needed, in fairness, because Inter Miami had just been building up a bit of a head of steam over the previous 8 or 9 minutes. That's come to a temporary halt for now as Alonso Coelho comes across to take this corner from the left-hand side for Toronto. Just placing the ball inside the corner quadrant. Just giving a signal of both hands making a cross gesture on his shoulders. He's going to swing it in right-footed towards the back post, and that's a disappointing one, unfortunately, for Toronto from Alonso Coelho. Just beat everybody and sailed over and bounced behind for a goal kick to Inter Miami. So if you are just tuning in, it's still goalless between Toronto FC and Inter Miami in the MLS Eastern Conference. It's been a half of two halves, really, I suppose you could say. Toronto certainly making the better start. Enjoying a couple of really clear-cut openings in the initial 15 to 20 minutes. But then, over the last 10 minutes or so, Miami starting to find their feet. Lionel Messi starting to conduct the band a little more from deep. Although they are yet to create a really gilt-edged opportunity to test Luka Gavran. But perhaps here now as Mikael comes forward. Plays a really good pass into Suarez. Suarez nods it down to Messi. Takes it on the chest. Dribbles away from one or two Toronto defenders there. And then the referee blows his whistle. I guess Suarez must have been offside there. Suarez pleading his case. It was the lofted pass over the top from Mikael. Suarez's nod down to Messi was delightful. Messi's chest control took it over the head of Edwards. All in one movement. It was a beautiful piece of play by Messi. And then with his second touch, he took it away from two defenders and was about to have a crack at goal when the referee's whistle went. So, a bit of a contentious one there, but Toronto more than happy to take the free kick as Monluis finds Edwards. Here's Saloy now, playing it up to Kerr. Kerr again doing well back to goal to hold off his man and spread the play to the right-hand side to Franklin. Franklin moving it on to Malik Henry. And now here's Simamancic. Finding a good pass up to Edwards. Edwards trying to turn away from a couple of pink shirts there and failing to do so. Although a really slack pass inside has just presented the ball to Osorio. He's played one inside to Saloy. And Toronto dicing with danger there, almost giving Inter Miami a really good opportunity to counter, but instead it's Coelho who keeps it moving for them. It's played into the penalty area, looking for the run of Osorio. It's come back here to Malik Henry. Henry battling away over on the right-hand side. Eventually manages to work it back to Franklin, who does well to pop a pass infield to Osorio. Still midway inside the Inter Miami half. Here they come again now, Toronto, with Malik Henry down the right-hand side. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Shifts it onto his right. Swings in across, right-footed. That's disappointing delivery. Has it gone out of play as well? Yeah, unfortunately it has for Toronto. And so it's another promising Toronto attack that just fizzles out a little bit disappointingly. And Inter Miami just be able to regroup, reset, look to get the game back underway from this goal kick, which they have done. Playing it short to Lujan. Mikhail finding Bright in midfield. Bright immediately laying it back to Lujan. Lujan under some sustained pressure there from DeAndre Kerr. Has to play it back all the way to Dane St. Clair. And here he is again, St. Clair. Finding a pass to Lujan, who's again confronted by Kerr. Lujan forced to go long. And it's nodded down by Osorio. A little flick there from Coelho. Probably wasn't quite what he would have wanted. And now Rodrigo De Paul looking to step away from a couple of challenges. But a really good tackle to win it back in there by Osorio. And now it's going to come here to Jonathan Osorio again. But good defensive work by Mikhail, stepping in to win it back for Inter Miami. Now it's the visitors who are looking to break away. Although just held up over there is Segovia. Does find a pass in field eventually to Messi. Messi turning away from a couple of challenges and finding the right pass. Here's Lujan playing it in field to Bright. Messi now. A couple of yards inside the Toronto half, left of centre. Just moving it on to Noah Allen. And into Miami. Just entering a little phase of possession where they're being pretty patient, not trying to force the issue. There's Allen, happy to go back here to Mikhail. Mikhail in turn, happy to go all the way back to Dane St. Clair. Here comes Lujan now. Little pass into midfield. First time layoff by De Paul, looking for a give and go with Mura. It was Mura who was bundled to the ground there. It's quite a risky 1-2 in fairness. There was a reasonable amount of ground for De Paul's return pass to have to travel. But Inter Miami more than happy to take that foul on Mura. They can look to build another attack. And this increasingly patient style that they've adopted over the last 2 or 3 minutes. As once again, Mikhail won't be rushed into playing it long. Finds Lujan. Again, De Paul dropping short to try to link play and get things moving in the right direction. This time Mikhail leaves it to De Paul, who tries a long ball over the top. That's well headed away by Zimmerman. It's fallen here to Messi. And now Messi! Oh, Messi not far away again. The ball just bobbled up really invitingly to him on the edge of the penalty area, and he's lashed a left-footed volley towards goal. I think he's pretty disappointed with himself there, the great man, because it was a pretty good chance by his standards, you know. As I say, the ball drilled forward by De Paul. It bobbled nicely for Messi, and then he just lashed it wide with the left foot. But meanwhile, here come Toronto again. Cross in from the left-hand side by Henry. Partially cleared. Henry still battling away to win it back. And they do win it back, Toronto. Here's Saloy finding Malik Henry once again. On his outside is Franklin. Little clipped cross from Franklin. There's a man down in the penalty area for Toronto. It was Edwards, but the referee says play on, and here come Inter Miami again. And it's Messi dropping deep to link the play delightfully and spread it to the left-hand side. Excellent piece of play by Leo Messi there. Here's Bertrand. Messi again, absolutely involved in these Miami moves now. He's at the heart of everything they're trying to do. Here's the former Barcelona man, as it's picked up here by Lujan, who's just drifted into the middle of the Toronto half. But for now, Inter just working it slowly across their defence. Mikhail eventually changes it up and goes long down the left-hand side. Ball's going to come here for Bright. He plays a square pass to Mura. Bright once again. Just skipping away from a couple of challenges. Looking for options in front of him. Gets a bit of support from Mikael. Allen playing it back to him. Allen now. You can tell he wants to play forward, but just going for the safe option of finding Mikael. And they won't be rushed here into Miami. As it's worked back over to the left-hand side again to Berteram. He'll slide pass into Suarez, who tries to flick it on first time. Gathering it in nicely over there was Berteram, and I think we're going to have a corner kick here. Are they into Miami? No. Referee saying the last touch came, well, presumably off Suarez. Although it was hard to tell initially. That's just about as close as they've come to breaking the deadlock into Miami. That chance for Lionel Messi a couple of minutes ago, just flashing a yard or two wide of Luka Gavran's left-hand post. As we head now into the final 5 minutes of normal time in this first half. Still goalless between Toronto and Inter Miami. But it's Inter on the attack here, and here goes Suarez now. Oh, he's actually run into Messi, but Messi's come away with the ball. Messi trying to slide a pass to the edge of the penalty area to Bright, and, well, Toronto have come away with it here, and all of a sudden it's a 3-on-4 situation for them, but the attempted through ball to Kerr, well cut out, and it's suddenly a bit of a basketball match here, as here comes DePaul again, measuring a pass into the area. Oh, and Messi just trying to lift it over Gavran, who had come rushing out. The offside flag has gone up against Lionel Messi, so it wouldn't have counted even if he had found the back of the net. Yeah, he's a good couple of yards off, is Messi. But it was a good idea from Rodrigo DePaul, just looking to bend a pass in behind the Toronto rear guard from a sort of inside right position, about 10 or 15 yards inside the Miami half, or the Toronto half, I should say. Messi was alive to it and made the run, but unfortunately just went a little bit too early. So still, it remains goalless. 3.5 minutes of normal time to go until the end of the first half. First half which has been fairly entertaining on the whole. Clear-cut chances at a bit of a premium. Half chances certainly not at a premium. Toronto have squandered several of those. Miami perhaps a couple themselves, as we await the deadlock to be broken in Canada. It's launched long and over to the left-hand side by Inter Miami. And it's gathered in there by Berteram, who plays it inside to Bright. Here's Segovia. DePaul linking up with him quite nicely. Now here goes Messi, shifting it onto his right foot down the right-hand side. Skipping away from Osorio there. Trying to play a little 1-2, and, well, Simamancic is going to be penalised here, I think. It was an attempted 1-2 between Messi and, I think it was DePaul. It didn't come off because DePaul was being fouled. I think they want the yellow card there for Simamancic. Doesn't look as though he's going to get it. But the upshot of that little set two is that Messi has another sight of goal here. And it's in a much better position than the one he took a couple of moments ago. It's a bit closer. Again, it's that right of centre slot that is ideal for the left footer. And we suspect Messi will once again be pulling the trigger here. Luka Gavran standing on the right-hand side of his goal, having erected a 5-man wall. Let's see what Messi has in store for us. Standing over the ball as well is Rodrigo DePaul, but it is DePaul. The element of surprise into the wall there, and DePaul hits it on the volley! Oh, what a strike! Oh my word, that's a sensational goal by Rodrigo DePaul. A case of the cream rising to the top for Inter Miami. He had one stab with the free kick, drilled it straight into the wall, But when it came back to him, my word, the second effort wasn't half bad. He slashed it low and hard. It struck the inside of the post and gone in. And on the stroke of half-time here, Inter Miami have what could be a priceless opening goal. And it's been provided to them by Rodrigo de Paul, the former Atletico Madrid man, coming up trumps with his third goal in this new MLS season already, in just his 10th appearance. And it's one to savour. As I say, a really, really excellent strike into the bottom right-hand corner as Luka Gavran was looking at it. And it's a goal that gives Inter Miami a lead that you could probably argue that they don't fully deserve, certainly on the balance of the first 20 minutes or so, where Toronto could easily have been 2 or 3 goals up. But credit to Inter Miami, they've stuck in the game and they managed to get a foothold in the second half of the first half. They've grown into it a little bit as Messi's influence has increased. That there's just a moment of pure quality from Rodrigo de Paul. There's a bit of a delay here to the restart. I imagine it's a VAR check. I'm not entirely sure what they're checking, but the goal has been awarded now, and we're back underway. And there'll be 2 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half. And it's a bit of a hammer blow, isn't it, for Toronto after everything they've contributed. And it could get worse here as the ball comes to Messi just outside the Toronto area. Plays a pass to his right. Cutting inside here is Suarez. Oh, and it's cleared almost off the line there by Toronto. Suarez just shifted it back inside onto his left foot, but the danger's not over. In comes the cross from the right-hand side. Headed down. Oh, and the referee coming to Toronto's rescue this time, awarding a free kick, I think, for a challenge on Walker Zimmerman or possibly Kobe Franklin there in the penalty area as that cross came in from the right-hand side. There's an aerial challenge I think the ref wasn't happy with, but wow, Suarez there, who had another glorious opportunity to double Miami's lead. I mean, that would have been really harsh on Toronto, but here they come now, the hosts. They're not giving in just yet for half-time as Coelho now finds a pass to Simancic. Osorio now, just ahead of the centre circle inside the Miami half. It's going to come here over on the right-hand side to Coelho again. And now here's Osorio. Neat little layoff from him. In comes the cross. And it's going to find Edwards free at the back post. His layoff. Oh, and there's a shot comes in. It's a good save from Dane St. Clair. It was Saloy who opened his body up and bent a right-footed shot towards the bottom right-hand corner. Dane St. Clair diving away to his left and getting a really strong left hand on the ball. Wow, Toronto coming oh so close there to finding an immediate equaliser right on the stroke of half-time. And, well, they might get another chance here as Franklin now launches a throw-in into the penalty area. It's headed up, but not entirely away by Mikael. And then the referee does eventually put the whistle in his mouth and blow for half-time. And so the difference between these two sides at the interval is Rodrigo de Paul. For a long time it looked as though it was going to be Toronto who were going to be heading into this break in the lead, because it was the hosts who certainly made a faster start after we'd had a bit of a delay for an unspecified reason. The game kicking off in the end just after 6 UK time. But as I say, it was Toronto who came out of the traps quickest. DeAndre Kerr in particular, who retained his place this evening after scoring in the midweek defeat against Atletico Ottawa. He arguably could have had a hat-trick already, but he spurned all of those opportunities. And as we moved into the second half of the first half, Inter Miami started to grow into it. Messi's influence, as I say, starting to exert itself on the game as he dropped deep and looked to land passes over the top of the Toronto rear guard and just link play in the final third as well. We had to wait until just a couple of minutes before the break. It was a direct free kick awarded to Inter Miami, about 2 or 3 yards outside the Toronto penalty area. I think everyone inside the stadium was expecting Lionel Messi to hit it. Certainly favoured the left footer. It was kind of a right of centre position, but Up stepped Rodrigo de Paul with the right foot instead. He drilled it into the Toronto wall, but had the good fortune to see the ball come straight back to him, and when he made contact with the second effort on the volley with the right foot, he made absolutely no mistake at all. The ball just arrowing hard and true into the bottom left-hand corner, or the right-hand corner, as Luka Gavran, the Toronto keeper, was looking at it, kissing the inside of the post on its way in as well. Thing of real beauty, in truth, from Rodrigo de Paul. His third goal in the MLS already this season, and it's the one that separates these two sides at half-time in this Eastern Conference clash. I'm just going to take a short break now. Make sure you tune back in 10 or 15 minutes or so, and I'll bring you live coverage of the second half. But at half-time in the MLS, it is Toronto FC 0, Inter Miami 1. Hello again, everyone. Chris Bryant here to take you through live coverage of the second half of this game in the MLS Eastern Conference between Toronto FC and Inter Miami. If you were with us in the first half, welcome back. If you weren't, well, you missed a pretty intriguing opening 45 minutes, actually, that just flowed from end to end. Started off with Toronto making most of the running. A couple of really good chances for DeAndre Kerr that weren't taken. Also a decent effort that flashed past the post from the right back Kobe Franklin. And as the half wore on, Inter Miami started to grow into it. Lionel Messi started to exert his authority on the game. We had to wait until just before half-time for the breakthrough. And it came initially from a free kick that was awarded for a foul by Marcus Simancic on Rodrigo de Paul. It looked for all the world as though Messi himself was going to take the free kick. But instead, de Paul stepped up, drilled it towards goal, deflected off the Toronto wall and up into the air, back in the direction of Rodrigo de Paul, who showed absolutely outstanding technique to keep his body and his head over the ball. Just drilled it on the volley, right-footed from 20 yards into the bottom left-hand corner, in off the post, the inside of the post. It was a lovely, lovely strike from Rodrigo de Paul. His third MLS goal of the season, adding to the ones that he scored in the 2-1 win at DC United, and also the 2-0 win at Salt Lake City last month. And as I mentioned, certainly a case of the cream rising to the top for Inter Miami. Rodrigo de Paul, big money, permanent signing in January. Did initially join them last summer, of course, on loan from Atletico Madrid, but that move made permanent in January for around about 15 million euros. And it is Rodrigo de Paul's goal that separate these two sides, as we now are about to get underway in the second half, and it will be Toronto who resume the action, attacking from left to right, the hosts, and they immediately ferry the ball over to the left-hand side to Raheem Edwards, who took up some decent positions in that first half, often inverting from his left-back berth, as Zimmerman drills the ball long. That's cut out well by Bright. One back in midfield by Coelho. And now here come Toronto down the left-hand side. It's Edwards now, showing good feet just to smuggle the ball back to Saloy. And then in comes the cross from Edwards. That's headed away well by Mikael. And Bright just making a bit of a hash of his attempted volleyed clearance. And that just presents the ball back to Osorio. He gets it back here from Edwards. Osorio now up to the edge of the penalty area. It's Edwards with a low cross. Poor execution from him, though, and that allows Miami to clear their lines. Oh, and he's got himself in trouble back there. And now there's a chance for Messi. Messi up to the edge of the penalty area. Messi onto the left foot. Still going, Lionel Messi. Plays it to Suarez. Oh, and Luis Suarez somehow puts it just wide of the far post. I can't believe Messi's actually passed it there, if I'm honest, having done so much hard work to get himself deep into the Toronto penalty area. It was Monluis who just dallied on the ball in midfield. It bounced free to Messi. Messi dribbled all the way into the Toronto penalty area, taking 2 or 3 defenders away with him, and just managed to just execute a little angle for himself to have the shot. And I thought for all the world that Messi was just going to bury the ball past Luka Gavran, but instead he had Suarez to his left, and he's just laid it off to his old Barcelona mucker. And Suarez, opening his body up from an inside left position, has just curled the ball wide of Luka Gavran's left-hand post. And it's an agonising one for Inter Miami, because they really, really could have been 2 goals to the good there. But instead, the ball has just sailed wide. It's going to be, instead, a goal kick to Toronto FC. It does show that they really do have to be careful, the hosts, in this second half, if they're going to let Lionel Messi have the ball on the break. He's going to be a major threat to their chances of getting back into this game, because he was in acres of space there. It was, as I say, a defensive mistake by Zayn Monluis, former Arsenal centre-half. Just got his feet in a bit of a tangle, and all of a sudden the ball presented itself to Lionel Messi. And Messi was bearing down on the Toronto penalty area. And suddenly they were backpedaling furiously. Messi, as I say, just trying to work an angle to get it onto his left foot. Did manage to do that, but just as he was about to pull the trigger, he saw Suarez to his left and just helped the ball on its way towards Luis Suarez. But Suarez, opening his body up, you could see what he was trying to do. He was just trying to bend it into the far corner, possibly in off the post as well, but it just flew a yard or two past that post. And Toronto, much to the relief of their coach Robin Fraser, I'm sure, living to fight another day, for now at least. So if you are just tuning in this MLS Eastern Conference clash, it's Inter Miami who are holding a narrow 1-goal lead against Toronto FC, given to them from a goal by Rodrigo de Paul towards the end of the first half. De Paul having smashed a free kick into the wall, the ball coming back to him, and then just lashed in a volley, right-footed, really impressive piece of play from Rodrigo de Paul. And that is the difference currently between the sides. Rodrigo de Paul goal to nil. His third goal in MLS this season. And it's one that I'm sure he'll remember for a while. As Toronto now looking to make hay down the left-hand side. It's come here to Coelho. Coelho dispossessed on the edge of the box by a really good challenge by Yannick Bright. And Bright, well, he's given the ball away. He's given it back to Toronto now. It's laid back here to Osorio. Now here's Saloy trying to find a pass up to Kerr. Kerr's layoff is a bit loose, and Inter Miami look to come away on the break here. But Edwards, Edwards thinks he's won the ball there, but the referee has blown up for a foul. Really frustrated with the ref there, Raheem Edwards. He thought he'd won the ball. The referee thinking otherwise. And Inter Miami will have a free kick. They've taken it quickly down the right-hand side. He's got a yellow card as well for his troubles there, actually, Raheem Edwards. I think more for the protest than the actual challenge itself. As Moura now. Oh, he's had his pocket picked there by Kerr. Kerr coming away, a sliding challenge coming in from Bright. Kerr went down, the referee says it's a fair tackle though. And now, here come Inter Miami again with Moura. Playing a little pass up to Messi on the edge of the penalty area. Messi bundled to the floor. It's come here to Suarez. Now, the layoff and a cross coming in from Allen. It's volleyed clear by Zimmerman. Beaten to the ball there was Simumancic. And now here's Messi, 20 yards from goal. Messi looking to shift it onto his left, goes on to the right. And it's going to come out here to the edge of the penalty area. And it's Suarez now. Lofts the ball into the box. That's too high for Messi from Luis Suarez. Just apologising to Lionel Messi there. It's a poor cross from Luis Suarez. Messi had just wriggled away from his marker at the back post and would have been free to get his head on the ball, but in the end it just sailed over Messi's head and out of play. And Toronto quick to get the game back underway as Gavra goalkeeper. Launches it long up towards Kerr. He's beaten in the air by Bright. Now here's Mikael. Into Miami. Work it back to Dane St. Clair, their goalkeeper, who measures a left-footed pass out to the left-hand side where Allen stabs it on first time. Pounced on him, though, is Franklin. And now here comes Toronto. There's a crossing chance here for Malik Henry. Henry, well, it's gone a little bit too close there to, I think it's Rodrigo De Paul, who's all the way back there doing some defending for his team, who chests it down and plays a slightly risky pass back into his own penalty area, but it's dealt with well by Lujan. And into Miami come away now with Moura, the right back. Here's Messi, jinking. Oh, sending Toronto players scurrying in his wake, although Edwards sliding in eventually and winning it back. Bit of a risky challenge that actually by Raheem Edwards, but here come into Miami again now. It's down the right-hand side. It's an attempted pass into Suarez. It's a bit of a poor one, but it's going to be gathered in now by Inter Miami, and it's worked across here to De Paul. What little 1-2 between De Paul and Messi, but a heavy touch from De Paul just allows the ball to be whacked clear by Toronto. I think it was Franklin back there who just lashed it clear, but lovely little cameo from Messi a couple of moments earlier there, leaving Sima Mancic on his backside, and credit to Raheem Edwards, who eventually slid in with a really good challenge on Lionel Messi. He's into Miami now. And to build again from the back this time with Mikael, just a couple of yards or so outside his own penalty area. Plays it to his right to Lujan. Lujan goes square again to Mikael. Now here's Noah Allen. Checks back under a bit of pressure from Malik Henry. Finds a good pass inside to Segovia. It's been coughed up though to Toronto, although Kerr losing his feet, and Messi gathering it in the centre circle and working a nice pass over to the right-hand side. It's going to be picked up here by Moura. Moura just smuggling it inside to Suarez. Suarez losing his footing though, and Toronto can come away with it here. Down the left-hand side. Finding a pass up to Saloy. Saloy showing good pace to get away from his man, and Saloy tries to step inside, but just being dispossessed there. And here come into Miami again with De Paul. Finding a pass over to the left-hand side. Great ball from Messi. And there's a chance here for Suarez! Luis Suarez! Well, form is temporary and class is permanent. It was a devastating piece of play by Inter Miami, and it ended with a clinical finish from 39-year-old Luis Suarez, who just buried the ball into the back of the net with his left foot. And all of a sudden, Inter Miami have a stranglehold on this game of football, don't they? It was a swift break down the right-hand side. There's a possible offside. It'll have to go to VAR. And actually, yeah, I do think this goal is going to be disallowed. Messi, who just helped the ball on immediately from the pass down the right-hand side in the general direction of Luis Suarez. It was a lovely pass from Messi, but actually looking at the replay, it looks as though he's a good couple of yards offside. So we'll wait and see what happens, but I do think this goal is potentially going to be disallowed. We'll have to see. Luis Suarez still taking the acclaim from his teammates. As I say, Messi did look to be a good couple of yards offside when he received that pass and moved it on first time. Jonathan Osorio, the Toronto captain, is in conversation here with the referee. Robin Fraser as well, the Toronto coach, having words down there with the fourth official. We'll have to wait and see which way this decision goes. There was also a shout for a potential foul on Raheem Edwards earlier in the build-up as Toronto were clearing their lines before that Inter Miami move developed. As I said, unless I'm missing something here, it did look as though Messi was clearly offside. Not sure what the delay is here for the officials. Still, we await the verdict. If it stands, it will be Luis Suarez's third goal in the MLS this season. Osorio just in dialogue here with Lionel Messi and Rodrigo de Paul. Still, we wait the verdict from the VAR. Raheem Edwards has been helped off the pitch. And Robin Fraser has a look on his face to suggest that he thinks this goal has been given. Don't have the official confirmation just yet. Just looking at it now. Surely Messi is offside, but it's a lovely little first-time pass from Lionel Messi when it came to him with the left foot down that right-hand side, finding Suarez, who had found some space on the inside left channel. When it came to Suarez, he just slotted it away with the left foot. And my word, the goal has been given. Well, there you go. Shows what I know, doesn't it? But as I say, I'll have to see another replay of that. It looked to me as though Messi was at least a yard or two offside, but perhaps when they drew the lines, there was somebody on the far side playing him on. Possibly it was Edwards who was down from the earlier challenge, and I just couldn't see him in the initial phase of play. And if that is the case, it's actually an incredibly smart piece of play, isn't it, by Lionel Messi? If you can imagine Edwards being down near the edge of the penalty area, Messi realising that, positioning himself behind the rest of the Toronto rearguard who had all pushed up. Really smart piece of play by Messi. And then the execution on the pass to find Suarez. And when it came to Luis Suarez, made no mistake whatsoever. There was no sign of Edwards on the initial replays, and I hadn't realised that he'd still been down on the turf from that earlier challenge inside the Toronto penalty area. There was no sign of him when Inter Miami were launching that attack from which Suarez eventually put the ball in the back of the net, but that can only be the reason why Messi wasn't offside. But perhaps a little chance here for Toronto to hit back immediately. Here's Henry, just outside the Miami penalty area, drives for the byline down the right-hand side, gets the cross in, but it's a little bit too close to Dane St. Clair. And St. Clair just able to catch the ball with both hands and launch it long. First time, oh, what a piece of control. That's absolutely glorious control. And now here's Messi, just outside the penalty area, trying to work it inside, but good challenge on him by Edwards. Inter Miami have it back. It's Messi looking to work an angle on the left foot. Messi goes down on the edge of the box, and the referee awarding a free kick here, I think it is. He's shown a yellow card as well. Is that for Walker Zimmerman? I'll confirm that for you shortly. Must be borderline whether this is in the area or not. I think it is just outside. Messi, those dazzling feet, just skipped inside a couple of red shirts. He's bundled to the floor. It's actually Coelho, I think, possibly, who was the man who bundled him to the floor. Suarez and Zimmerman just exchanging a few words. I think it was just outside the penalty area. A foul on Lionel Messi. And yeah, it looks as though Luka Gavran is organising his wall here. He prizes for guessing who's spotting the ball. It's again in that inside right channel, as you can imagine, right on the edge of the penalty area. It's maybe a couple of yards in from the corner of the penalty area, so more out to the right of the penalty area than towards the centre, if that makes sense. Actually, that yellow card, I thought it might have been given to Coelho or Zimmerman initially, but it's actually Luis Suarez who's been shown the yellow card. There's Messi now, steps up, Messi shoots! Oh, Messi not far away there. Gavran had to dive across, getting the plaudits from his teammates there, Luka Gavran, because he's just got there in time to keep the ball from flying in at the near post. It was on target from Messi, I think. He got it up and over the wall, Messi. Glorious free kick, and yeah, good strong two hands on it from Luka Gavran just to punch the ball away. And Inter Miami having to settle for a corner here, which Messi is going to take. He takes it short to De Paul, gets it back from Rodrigo De Paul, works it back to him. De Paul clips a little pass into the area to Messi. Good defending by Edwards, getting there ahead of Messi to chest the ball down and bring it away. And now Edwards looking to barrel his way down the left touchline, being bundled to the floor and getting a free kick for his troubles this time. Raheem Edwards, is he? No, the referee playing advantage because Toronto do have the ball. It's with Osorio, who checks away and turns back and finds Coelho. Coelho playing a pass up to Simancic. And now here's Walker Zimmerman, just inside the Miami half. Tries to switch it from right to left to Edwards and does so pretty nicely. Edwards laying it back to Coelho. Coelho thinking about a cross, but instead turning back and finding Edwards. Edwards with the right-footed cross this time. Commanding header clear by Mikael for Inter Miami. Bit of a loose header there by Monluis. But Toronto fortunate there to win the throw-in, which is taken over there on the left-hand side by Saloy. Who gets the ball back from Monluis. Saloy trying a long pass over the top, and Dane St. Clair, whoa, he's come right to the edge of his penalty area and he's caught the ball. Toronto appealing that he's maybe handled that outside the penalty area, but I think he's just about got it right, the Inter Miami goalkeeper. And Inter Miami already stringing a nice little move together, although it does fall apart when they get to halfway. And now here's Edwards, laying it back to Osorio, just inside the Inter Miami half. Coelho's layoff, finding Monluis, who strides back into the Miami half. He finds Edwards. Edwards now, again, thinking about a cross. Instead, it's worked back to Monluis. Here's Edwards once again, wide on the left-hand side. Saloy showing good pace again to step away from one challenge, but back there is Murat for Inter Miami. Chested down neatly in midfield. And then, well, there's going to be a free kick awarded here to Toronto, is there? Yeah, it's a foul on Osorio. Rodrigo de Paul, well, he's absolutely gobsmacked at this decision, is Rodrigo de Paul, but I think the verdict has gone to Toronto. And this little break in play is going to be the prompt for Toronto to make a couple of changes here. I think DeAndre Kerr is coming off. He's going to be replaced by Emilio Aristizabal. And also coming off for Toronto is Marcus Simancic. Coming on in his place is Derek Etienne Jr. So we'll have to see if that's a little change of shape potentially for Toronto. Because it's two pretty attacking players for one midfielder and one attacking player. As Toronto now await the taking of this free kick. It's Alonso Coelho who's put the ball down. It's a good 40 yards out from goal, wide on the left-hand side. So it favours the right footer for the in-swinger. Plenty of bodies in the box for Toronto. As Coelho now swings it in. Decent ball. Oh, and St. Clair was scrambling for a moment. It's beaten everyone and gone behind. I think it was maybe taken a little nick from an Inter Miami player on the way through, whether it was St. Clair who just got a touch to it or whether it was one of his defenders. Regardless, it is a corner for Toronto, which Jonathan Osorio has come across to take from the right-hand side. He's going to swing it in right-footed. It'll be the out-swinger. Oh, it's actually Coelho who's going to take this one as well. The two of them are standing over there, but it looks like Coelho is going to swing it in, which he does. And a header comes in. Oh, and it's almost beaten St. Clair at the near post there. He's dived down to his right, and he's just managed to gather the ball in. It was a storming header. Didn't see who it was from. Have to confirm that in a moment. But it was at the back post. It was a really good downward header that St. Clair had to dive really sharply down to his right to gather in. I thought for a moment it was nestling in the back of the net, but St. Clair, to his credit, doing well to maintain this 2-0 lead here for Inter Miami as they look to find a pass down the right-hand side. That's a little bit too heavy, though, and it allows Gavran to come out and whack the ball high into the stands over on the left-hand side. And Inter Miami this time having to settle for a throw-in. They're going to make a change of their own here, I think, Inter Miami. And it's an interesting one. It's going to come at left-back. It's Noah Allen going off. Coming on in his place is Sergio Reguilon, a familiar face and a familiar name to any listeners of Premier League coverage, I'm sure. Former Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United man, of course. Real Madrid as well, and Sevilla. Got a pretty glittering array of clubs on his CV as Sergio Reguilon. 29 years of age now. He'd been without a club for 4 or 5 months after leaving Spurs last summer, but joined Inter Miami in January. And he's making his 4th appearance for them here now, having missed the last 4 games in the MLS through injury. To pick up 6 caps, actually, for Spain in his heyday, did Sergio Reguilon. He's just really struggled with injury problems, though, hasn't he, over the past few years? Had that little stint at Brentford most recently on loan from Spurs. It looks as though Toronto are also going to be forced into an additional change here. I think Raheem Edwards' race may well be run. He's moving pretty gingerly. Still feeling the effects of that previous knock that he was down for when the goal was scored. He's heading towards the touchline now. And it does look as though Raheem Edwards is going to be coming off. And coming on to replace him, it's Micah Chisholm, 21 years of age, young central defender who made his Toronto debut actually as a half-time sub last Saturday in the 1-1 draw with San Jose Earthquakes. On that occasion he came on for Lazar Stefanovic, who picked up an injury, and now it's a further injury problem, isn't it, for Toronto, with Raheem Edwards going off. He wants to be replaced by Micah Chisholm. For now, here's Coelho. Finds a pass up there to Aristizábal, and then the shot comes in from the edge of the penalty area, and it's Saloy. Well, he's got hold of it reasonably well, but it's just come off the outside of the right foot from Daniel Saloy. It was dipping and ducking viciously. Unfortunately for Toronto, not on target from Daniel Saloy, the man who scored the opening goal in that 1-1 draw with San Jose Earthquakes after just 2 minutes last Saturday. And he's been in pretty good goal-scoring form, actually, so far this season, with 4 goals to his name already. As Inter Miami now to come away down the left-hand side. Nice little touch there by Segovia, but Toronto win it back. Loose pass, though, by Coelho. And now it's going to come here to Suarez, who spreads the play first time to Messi, who brings it under his spell immediately, but runs into a pretty strong challenge over there from Chisholm. So the substitute making an immediate impact there, he's gone in at left back in place of Edwards. Doing really well just to step in and win it off Messi. As Inter Miami now look to build again with Yannick Bright. Bit of a miscontrol there by Mikael, but he's got away with it as Dane St. Clair just clears it out to Lujan. And now here's Reguilon, the substitute. Looking for options, finding one next to him in the shape of Segovia. Here's Bright now, inside the centre circle, just inside the Inter Miami half. Reguilon picks it up over near the touchline on the left-hand side, and then Mikael working it all the way back to Dane St. Clair, the goalkeeper, who just stands on the ball on the edge of his penalty area, takes a couple of touches, and then drills a long left-footed clearance down the centre of the park. Bit of a loose touch there by Franklin, and it's pounced on by Suarez. Messi giving it back to him, and now here's Luis Suarez! Oh, Luis Suarez is back! It's a fantastic finish, and it's 3-0 to Inter Miami. And it's actually Aristizábal who's got the goal I got a little bit carried away there. Apologies from me. I thought Luis Suarez had delivered, but it was actually the substitute, Emilio Aristizabal, who's drilled the ball into the bottom corner. It was won initially by Reguilon from a long pass, and then it was slid into the path of Lionel Messi. Messi turned it round the corner, and actually I think it's Sergio Reguilon there who's got the final touch, would you believe? It was Aristizabal who was also there, but just a couple of minutes after coming on, Sergio Reguilon has popped up with a goal here for Inter Miami that I doubt too many of his teammates would have been expecting. He found himself in the inside right channel of all places, and that pretty much is that, you would imagine, for the game now. Toronto trailing by 3-0, and Inter Miami on easy street as Toronto look to come forward and possibly reduce the arrears immediately, but as they work it down the left-hand side, it's Chisholm who finds a pass there to Saloy. Good little combination play from Toronto. A low cross that makes its way to the edge of the penalty area. It's not going to find Malik Henry, though. There's a possible offside there, but the referee continues with the game as Mikael finds a good pass to Reguilon, the goal scorer. His clearance, though, only as far as Osorio. Osorio, his pass, though, to the edge of the penalty area as well, cut out. And here come Inter Miami again with Segovia, breaking away dangerously. Here's Messi, up to the edge of the penalty area. Plays it to his right. Low cross back here to Messi! Oh, he wasn't going to be denied, was he, Lionel Messi? As the game opened up in Inter Miami's favour, Lionel Messi opened his body up and just buried a textbook left-footed finish into the far corner. It is goal number 10 in all competitions for Lionel Messi. It is goal number 9 in 11 appearances in the MLS. And you just can't keep a good man down, can you? Lionel Messi, involved in the build-up, found a pass over to the right-hand side, found a bit of space near the penalty spot, and when the ball was returned to him, just let it run across his body. And that trusty left foot that has been doing damage to teams all over the world for so many years now has come up trumps yet again as he buried it into the far corner. Lionel Messi stamps his mark on this football match, and the points are definitely going home now with Inter Miami because they lead Toronto FC here by 4-0. 15 minutes remaining, and really now for Toronto, you feel as though it has to be about damage limitation because things could get far worse here if they're so open as they have been in the last 10 or 15 minutes. You feel as though Miami have got the players on the pitch to really punish them further. Here they come, the hosts, trying to work it into the Miami penalty area, but that's cleared away again. And here come the visitors once more on the break. The pink shirts are flooding forward again. Here's a chance over on the right-hand side for the ball to be played down. And there's a free kick going to be given here, is there? Yeah, I think it's Etienne Jr. who's going to be penalised for a challenge on Rodrigo de Paul, who's been really, really hard-working presence this evening for Inter Miami. And it's a free kick that's level with the edge of the penalty area. Wide on the right-hand side, just a yard or so in from the touchline. And it's Messi and de Paul standing over the ball. Messi just re-spotting it now. Again, you would imagine it favours the left footer. And it is going to be Messi. And it goes from him. It's flicked on and it's bounced behind, and it's going to be a corner here for Inter Miami. Messi just telling one of his teammates to head across and take the corner. He doesn't need to charge over there himself. Over to that left-hand side where it's going to be taken from. And instead, it's going to be swung in. It's actually played short to the edge of the penalty area. And it goes now. Little back heel there that doesn't quite come off from Suarez, and Toronto are able to clear their lines. The ball bouncing out of play, 10 yards or so inside the Inter Miami half. And looks so we're going to see another couple of changes here for the visitors. Coming off is Talasco Segovia, who's been quietly effective in there in midfield for Inter Miami. And also I think we're going to see Yannick Bright heading off as well. Coming on for the visitors, it's going to be Preston Plumbeck and also David Ayala. It's actually a triple change for Inter Miami. Luis Suarez also going off. And the third man coming on is the 18-year-old youth prospect, Daniel Pinter. So, 12 minutes to go. Inter Miami having all but wrapped this game up. 4-0 to the good, as Reguilon takes a throw-in from just inside the Toronto half. Ball is worked back and across to Lujan. Now, a long raking pass that's dealt with well by Franklin just outside his own penalty area. I think it was Messi who just trying to pick out a runner from halfway. Franklin, bit of a shake of the head from him. It's been a tough afternoon for those Toronto defenders. As Reguilon takes the throw in. It's hooked up and away. Good piece of play with his back to goal there temporarily by Aristezábal. And now here's Mikael for Inter Miami. Another raking pass over the top on the counter that finds some space here, and there's a chance here, and it's a brilliant save in the end by Luka Gavran, because Messi was after a second goal there. He just pulled away over to the right-hand side. A gorgeous little clipped ball over the top that found him. Messi took one touch to cut inside Chisholm and just curled it left-footed towards the far left-hand corner. But Gavran, to his credit, diving away to his right, getting a strong hand on it to tip the ball away. But Messi has got the bit between his teeth, and there's still 10 minutes to go, and that spells danger for Toronto, who take this latest, Inter, I should say, take this latest corner short. It's volleyed across there by Plumbeck. In goes the cross from Reguilon. It's going to come here on the edge of the box again to Plumbeck, who heads it towards the Toronto penalty area. And it's hoiked clear by Derek Etienne. And then nodded all the way back to Dane St. Clair, who won't be in a rush to do anything particularly meaningful with this ball, I'm sure. Just ambling back towards his own goal, and then eventually finds a left-footed pass over to Lujan, who strides up to the halfway line, finds Messi. Messi, little layoff there to Mura. And now here's Lujan again. Messi once more, just inside the Inter Miami half. Gets it back to Lujan, who finds Mikael. Mikael now moving it on to Reguilon. Now, and there's a bit of a problem in the penalty area there, and it's going to be a goal here for Toronto. Yes, there is. And it's been scored by Emilio Aristezábal. It was a horrendous defensive error back there that just presented a glorious opportunity to Toronto. And it's one they've taken with both hands. Just trying to see which Inter Miami player it was there. It was a pass inside by Reguilon. And then there was an air shot. Yeah, it was a really terrible moment there for David Ayala, who's just come onto the pitch. He's lost his balance and he's had a bit of an air shot. And that's allowed Saloy to pounce on the ball inside the penalty area on the right-hand side. And Saloy has just cut it back to Aristezábal, who made no mistake tapping into the empty net. So, at the very least, these Toronto fans do have something to cheer now, I suppose. I'm sure it's not going to affect the destiny of the 3 points, but it certainly makes the scoreline a little bit less one-sided as we await the resumption of the game now. Inter Miami were keen to crack on with it. The referee just brings them back to the centre circle. Possibly just a VAR check on something, but the goal does stand, and Toronto do eventually get themselves on the scoreboard as Messi wins a header in midfield, somewhat surprisingly. But Toronto have it back now, and it's a little layoff by Henry. Barreling forward here is Osorio, but he's lost out there, and now Mikael is able to clear it away right-footed. Header won well there by Coelho. Now darting towards the edge of the area is Etienne Jr. Good piece of defensive work there by Planbeck for Inter Miami. And then Lujan finding a good pass into midfield. It's moved on here to Reguilon. Reguilon giving it back here to Planbeck. Planbeck plays it back to Reguilon. Here's Mikael now. Gathering the ball in midfield is Ayala, who made that awful mistake for the Toronto goal. It's Mura. Back to Ayala now, just inside his own half. Playing it to the right to Messi, who's hugging the right-hand touchline. And then Messi, well, uncharacteristically slack pass from him, allows Toronto to pick it up, and they look to come forward as Coelho tries to flight a ball over the top of the Inter rear guard. That doesn't quite come off, but it's back with Etienne Jr. And, well, we don't like to see this. There's all of a sudden there's 3 pitch invaders who have suddenly entered the field, and they've all made their way towards Lionel Messi. And, well, I think they just wanted to give the great man a hug, but goodness me, it's not something we want to see, is it? Certainly not in a World Cup year. But it just gives us a chance just to pause and reflect on what's been a brilliant game, really. It's really come alive in the second half. And it's Inter Miami who are going to be taking all 3 points home, leading as they do at this point by 4-1. It was Rodrigo de Paul who gave them the lead. And then the second goal provided by Luis Suarez for a rare intervention by the substitute Sergio Reguilon. And then the inevitable Lionel Messi goal. It looked as though at that point Inter Miami were heading for a 4-0 win, or better perhaps, but then a horrible mistake by David Ayala, just presenting Daniel Saloy with the ball unmarked in the penalty area, and he just rolled it across the face of the 6-yard box to the substitute Emilio Aristizabal, who gave Toronto some measure of respectability on the scoreline. And it's the hosts who are looking to add a little bit more to that home column with a corner from Coelho now as we get back underway. It's nodded clear and volleyed further away up into the Toronto half. Gathered in there by Franklin, who launches it long. But it's back with Inter Miami now. And Messi crafting a nice little pass over to the left-hand side to the substitute, Pinter. He finds a pass back to Ayala. Ayala having his pocket picked temporarily there. But Inter Miami do manage to come away with the ball still. Messi now finds a pass to the right-hand side. Goes for the return pass. It's a little cutback that's well blocked in there in the end by Monluis, and Rodrigo de Paul has to settle for a corner. It's 100 goal contributions now for Lionel Messi in 64 regular season matches in the MLS. 59 goals and 41 assists. It's an absolutely extraordinary statistic, isn't it? I suppose we shouldn't be surprised by anything he does these days, Lionel Messi. And he's looking to get on a return pass here, but just not quite on the same wavelength as Mura, the right back. Messi was looking for a pass in between the full-back and the centre half, but Mura put it outside the left back. And that left back is Micah Chisholm, who takes the throw in now for Toronto. Long down the left-hand side. Inter quickly winning it back though. And here's Mikhail now in the centre circle, just inside his own half. Finding Sergio Reguilon. Pass that's made its way out to the right-hand side this time to Mura. And then it's worked on by Lujan to Mikhail once more. Now here's Reguilon. Under a bit of pressure from Malik Henry, has to go back to Mikhail. Mikhail looking to hold off the challenge of Saloy and firing it down the line, and that's turned into a pretty decent ball actually by Mikhail. Really good hold-up play there, but the attempted pass, well, Bertaram just got it a bit wrong, just smashed it into his own man. That allowed Toronto to clear their lines up to halfway. Towering header won there by Mikhail. Here's DePaul, sliding a little pass through to Messi! Oh, Messi tried to go around the keeper, but credit to Luka Gavran there. He's dived at the feet of Lionel Messi, and he's got a really big touch on the ball to take it away from Lionel Messi. And it's an excellent save by the Toronto goalkeeper. One that has prevented the scoreline from being even more damaging, but it was brilliant play initially by DePaul, chesting the ball down just a yard or two in front of the edge of the centre circle inside the Toronto half, sliding a perfect through ball into the path of Lionel Messi. When Messi went through one-on-one, you're expecting the back of the net to bulge. But actually, on this occasion, Luka Gavran producing a great save as Henry now into the penalty area, firing a low cross in. That's cleared away by Inter Miami. He's shown a couple of flashes tonight, hasn't he, Malik Henry? Hasn't quite been his night, though. He may still get another chance here as the ball is swung in by Franklin. Oh, and a brilliant header! Oh, what a header! They have got a second goal, Toronto. It's an outstanding header at the back post. And it's Emilio Aristizabal again. What an impact he's made after coming on. Only one goal in 10 MLS appearances this campaign before this evening, but he's come off the bench and delivered 2 in the final stages of this game. But this one was the absolute pick of them. The first one was a tap-in in truth. But this one, wow, it's an absolutely sensational header. The cross that swung in from Franklin, the ball's behind him. He's further out than the penalty spot, dead centre in the box, and he's had to arch his neck backwards and just angle it back towards where it was coming from, into the far corner. Dane Sinclair diving to his left, had absolutely no chance at all. It's honestly one of the best headed goals you'll see all season, I'm sure. It's precious little consolation, I guess, for Toronto, because Inter Miami, I'm sure, are still going to win this game. But it certainly puts a bit of respectability on the touchline, on the scoreline, I should say. And in amongst all of that, the referee has shown a yellow card to one of the substitutes for Inter Miami, Daniel Pinter. Well, we are going to have 8 minutes of additional time here at BMO Field. So maybe, just maybe, if Toronto can find a goal from somewhere, it could set up a bit of a grandstand finish. Do just wonder if there might be some slightly nervy thoughts of what happened last weekend coming into the minds of those Inter Miami players. What I'm referring to, of course, is when they were 3-0 up at home against Orlando and ended up losing the game 4-3 somehow. This time they're 4-0 up. Surely they're not going to drop a couple of points or worse here from that sort of position. But credit to Toronto. They were more than a match for Inter Miami in the first half, and well, they did get blown away by that rash of goals early in the second period by Inter Miami. They haven't gone away. They've kept at it. They've stuck to their task. And now they find themselves just within 2, and there's a little bit of belief that's crept back into the home faithful here at BMO Field. And certainly, if they can find another goal quickly, Toronto, as I say, it would set up a really intriguing final few minutes. There's just a bit of a delay for the game to get back underway. There's 92 minutes on the clock now, but I'm pretty sure we haven't played any of that injury time yet, so could still be another 8 minutes to go. Perhaps a little bit more for the celebration of the goal. And, well, Inter Miami send it long, down the right-hand side. Chisholm comes across, knocks the ball out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in to Inter Miami. Level with the edge of the Toronto penalty area. As you can imagine, the visitors in no great rush to take it. Rodrigo de Paul just making a bit of a gesture to the referee as if to say, well, do you want me to be sprinting to gather the ball? As Mura now does eventually take it. It's worked inside now, and then across to the left-hand side to Pinter. Played back to Mikael. Here's Reguilon just inside the Toronto half. Finds a pass up to Bertaram. Nice little piece of play by Coelho to escape a couple of challenges. And here come Toronto again now. They're swarming forward, the red shirts. Down the left-hand side here, it's Etienne Jr. Down to the byline now. Goes down under a challenge. The referee thinks about it. Well, what's he going to do here, the referee? Etienne Jr. is adamant he should have a penalty. Well, I think he's going to ask for his video assistant referee to help him out here. It was Derek Etienne Jr. going to the byline. I think this is a penalty, you know. Mura, he doesn't look happy. He's put in a challenge. He was panicking a bit there as Etienne Jr. was going past him. And I think there's every opportunity that this could end up being a penalty. As far as I know, it's still being checked. Robin Fraser making his case. Oh, has it been overturned? Or not overturned, obviously, because it wasn't given in the first place. But has the referee decided it's not a penalty? It's hard to know what's going on here. Certainly the game has stopped. The Toronto players look as though they're frustrated, as though they feel like it's not going to go their way. But for me, that's a penalty. Rodrigo de Paul also looking a little bit anxious, in fairness, now as he makes his case to the referee. But my word, if this ends up being a penalty and it's converted, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but goodness me, what a finish we've got lined up for this game in the MLS. Derek Etienne Jr. is absolutely convinced. He's picked the ball up wide on the left-hand side. He's dribbled into the penalty area. He's running hard and direct at Facundo Mura. He's gone past him towards the byline. Mura looked to be panicking. Looks as though he's clipped the heels of Derek Etienne Jr. And I'd be amazed if the VAR doesn't ask the referee to go and look at this on his pitch side monitor, if there is one at the BMO field, which I presume there is. And still we await further updates here. Rodrigo de Paul and Derek Etienne Jr. deep in conversation, and wow, they've decided it's not a penalty between them. I must say, Toronto can feel really hard done by there. Robin Fraser, I'm sure, can't believe it down there in his technical area. And Inter Miami, for now, breathe a huge sigh of relief. But it's not done yet, because Toronto have the ball. And Inter Miami are just backing off a little now. Here is Monluis into the centre circle, still inside his own half. Plays a pass to his right to Zimmerman. Zimmerman goes down the line. And that's a poor attempted clearance from Reguilon now. And it's bobbling its way through, and it's Osorio looking to gather the ball. Bit of a heavy touch from Messi that just allows Chisholm to win it back for Toronto. And here's Monluis now. Zimmerman, midway inside his own half. Finds a good pass up to Saloy. Here goes Malik Henry now, driving in field. Stepping away from a couple of challenges. He's fouled there. He's still going, Henry. Finds a pass into the penalty area. Malik Henry trying to come in there onto the ball. Just about smuggled away by Inter Miami. And then they're going to get a free kick as well, I think, here for a challenge by Zimmerman. Zimmerman's furious because they could have had a free kick earlier in that move. In fairness, Toronto. They had a couple of bites that Malik Henry did into Miami. But they've won the ball back already, Toronto. And here's Franklin again now. Henry wide on the left-hand side. Right-hand side, I should say. Swings in a left-footed cross. Headed up, but not entirely away. The ball's going to drop kindly here. Shot comes in. And it's fallen for Etienne. He's into the penalty area again. Little cross that comes in. Headed away partially. And now, Inter just looking to get the ball as far away from their goal as possible as they just fizz a pass in field to Messi. Messi now. Works a pass out to the right-hand side to Mura. Here's De Paul. Back inside to Messi. Messi switching the point of the attack to the left-hand side now. It's with Pinter, the substitute. He just checks his progress for a moment. Lays it back to Reguilon. Pinter once again. Up to Berteram. Berteram with a little nutmeg on Zimmerman. Down to the byline. Berteram tries to cross. Excellent tackle coming in there from Monluis. The ball only going as far, though, as Messi. And Messi now looking for options. Here's De Paul. Works its way infield. Going down on the edge of the penalty area there was Bertram. Now it's come here over to the right-hand side to Mura. His cross is cut out. And now coming away with the ball here. Down the left-hand side is Etienne. Poor pass from him, though. And Inter Miami have it back. I think they just want to see it out now, do Inter Miami. No great urgency to score more goals, as you might expect. Here's Messi, 30 yards from goal. Wriggles away from a couple of challenges. Into the penalty area. Tries a little 1-2. Doesn't quite come off. They do still have it now, Inter Miami. And the cross comes in towards Messi, but he's never going to get his head on that. And it bounces behind for a Toronto goal kick. Which will be taken by Luka Gavran, who immediately ushers his defenders up the field. We've played now, or the clock I should say, has moved on to 99 minutes. We're due to play 8 additional minutes of time, as I said, as Etienne chests it down, volleys it over his shoulder. Henry can't quite bring it under his spell. Inter look to bring it away now as Mura gathers it just inside his own half on the right-hand side. That's headed back into Miami territory by Coelho. The miscontrol by Henry just allows Reguilon to step in. And now here come Inter Miami once again. Up to the halfway line with Klambeck. He lays it back to Ayala. Now here's Reguilon. Still just inside his own half. Messi comes to collect the ball off Sergio Reguilon. Good little bit of link up between those two. And now here's Pinter. Pinter finding a pass into De Paul, who's bundled to the floor. Referee saying it's a handball, though, for De Paul gathering the ball in his hands. And here comes Toronto now. Pass played down the right-hand side. In comes the cross from Saloy. Another header towards goal. And that's just gone sailing over. And it's been a brave effort from Toronto, but that headed chance from Walker Zimmerman, who'd come up from the back, that might just be the last action of this game. And yeah, the referee has brought time on what's been an absolutely extraordinary game of MLS football, if we're being honest. It's hard to know where to start, but it's Inter Miami who are ultimately taking the spoils by 4-2. But let's just recap and take you back to the first half. It was a first half that actually produced a few chances for Toronto, mainly DeAndre Kerr spurning a few of those. Kobe Franklin also going close with a shot. Miami not creating too many clear-cut chances, working their way into the game in the second half of the opening period. Messi's influence starting to tell. But it was just before the interval that we did finally get the breakthrough. A free kick struck into the wall from about 20 yards by Rodrigo De Paul. Fell back to De Paul on the volley, and he unleashed an outstanding volley into the bottom left-hand corner that flew in off the post. And then into the second half we went, and a contentious goal from a Toronto point of view. Lionel Messi picking up a pass and looking as though he was 2 or 3 yards offside, but actually he was being played onside by the stricken Raheem Edwards, who had taken a knock about 30 seconds earlier in a previous Inter Miami move. Nevertheless, when the ball did come through to Messi on that inside right channel, he played a first-time pass across the field to Luis Suarez, who was waiting at the back post to prod it home with his left foot to make it 2-0 to Inter Miami. And we didn't have to wait that much longer before it became 3-0. One of the substitutes, Sergio Reguilon, chipping in with a goal of his own, popping up at the back post on the inside right channel of all places, the left back, to pop one into the back of the net. And then, of course, Messi, the great man, had to have his say, and he did, as Rodrigo De Paul barreled down the right-hand side found a good cross towards Messi that he just let roll across his body perfectly, or run across his body perfectly, I should say, before just opening his left foot up and just placing it into the far left-hand corner. A typically expert finish from Lionel Messi. And at that point, you're thinking it could get really ugly for Toronto, but credit to them. They never gave up. They battled their way back into the game. And a couple of goals for the substitute, Emilio Aristizábal, made it a little bit interesting towards the end. The first, a tap-in after a dreadful mistake by the inter-substitute, David Ayala, allowing Aristizábal to just tap the ball into an empty net after good work from Daniel Saloy. And then the same player, Aristizábal, producing an outstanding header from the penalty spot into the back of the net from a really good cross from Kobe Franklin. And then there was further drama when Derek Etienne went down in the penalty area under a challenge from the right back Facundo Moura. It looked to me a pretty stonewall penalty, I have to say. The referee didn't award it. It went to VAR. The VAR didn't want to overturn the referee's decision. If that had stood and it had been a penalty and Toronto had made it 4-3 rather than 4-2, I think things could have got really interesting with 6 or 7 minutes of injury time remaining, particularly after what happened to Inter Miami last week when they blew a 3-0 lead against Orlando to lose 4-3. But that was all academic in the end. Derek Etienne and company being left to rue the referee's final decision, which was no penalty. And although Toronto did craft one more opportunity at the death through Walker Zimmerman, it was ultimately a fairly comfortable win for Inter Miami by 4-2. Brilliant entertainment, though, at BMO Field in the MLS. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. That's just about it for now from me. I've been Chris Bryant. This has been Toronto FC 2, Inter Miami 4. We'll see you again next time. But for now, it's bye-bye from me. I hope you have a great evening.